little piece.
Oh, okay. Let's
right.
sing Happy Birthday first. And then we'll sing the
Anybody
light.
have a birthday in April? Yeah. Well, blessings on you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, God loves you. Happy birthday to you. Okay, so, yay. So back to the light. So this is the one that we always play at the end, and there's always some people dancing in the aisles. I think you'll know it whenever you hear it. But let's stand and sing it. And, of course, the lyrics are in the program. One, two, three. It's this one. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. Yeah, let's take it back to the top. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. Okay, so now we're gonna emphasize things like to the light, of the light, we're the light, in the light. So whenever we get to those parts, like really shout it out, okay? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. Good job. That sounded really nice. Let's do the whole thing one more time. Here we go. 1, 2. I'm gonna move to the light. I'm gonna speak of the light. I'm gonna sing with the light. I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. Let's go back to when I choose. 1. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise. And what do? And we shine in the light, yeah. Shine in the light. Shine in the light. Shine. Good job.
Yes, and we are going to shine. And I want to welcome our practitioner, Donna Stevens, as she takes us deeper into that experience of the light, that experience of spirit. And just to remind you, which I did not announce at the announcement part, that we are a tradition based in prayer treatment, because we know that prayer works. And perhaps there is a prayer form in front of you, and if not, there are some out in the library. And if there's something you need prayer with, we have practitioners and ministers here that pray with your intention. So please take advantage of that. And Donna?
I'm going to take a couple of deep breaths if you'd like to join me. In and out. In and out. There's one divine energy that flows in and out and through everyone and everything in creation, like a giant cosmic spirograph. It is an energy of love, creativity, and limitless enthusiasm, just waiting for me to access everything it has to offer. It is up to me to remember I am a spiritual being having a human experience on this planet, to see the truth in situations and live my fullest life. The God, the grand overall design, wants only the best for its creations. I am meant to be happy and living a full life. I am truly grateful knowing this is the truth, and I release my word to the law. And please say with me, and so it is. Now if you'll turn to your bulletin and read the affirmation with me, please. I release the limitless fire of imagination into my life with energy and enthusiasm, knowing that I am infinitely splendid in the eyes of the divine. And so it is.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Today I'm reading out of Science of the Mind magazine for this month. The title is Yours to Do. The gift we each bring is unique and unlike any other. It's a one-of-a-kind gift which can never, even in a million millennia, be recreated. By Dennis Merritt Jones. The divine has not incarnated in anyone else in just the same individual way that it has in me. I am unique and forever individualized. Ernest Holmes, Science of the Mind, page 263. How many of you like trees? I do too. Okay. When the emerald ash borer, a metallic green beetle, decimated 6 million ash trees in the Chicago area, municipalities wanted to cut down the trees to prevent further spread of the beetle and save the cost of inoculating the trees against them. That is when Scott Carlini stepped in. He has loved trees since he was a young boy, and he made himself a promise that when his generation was in charge, he would be a leader in helping people save their trees from any threats, such as Dutch elm disease, which killed more than 40 million trees. He made good on his promise by becoming a trained volunteer tree keeper. Today, he cares for more than 50 ash trees in Chicago and Wisconsin, inoculating the trees against the beetle in an effort that he funds by himself. One conservationist described him as dedicated, passionate advocate for trees. While Carlini works to keep his 50 trees healthy, the task that is his to do, tree experts are working at the level of cause, seeking to develop a disease-resistant ash tree that would eliminate the problem entirely. Carlini's story demonstrates that spirit has a unique way of expressing through each of us. In this case, he is living spirit's qualities of love, kindness, and compassion. His tree care is spirit's own act of self-care, as all is one. Spirit wants to express itself as you in one-of-a-kind, wonderful, and amazing ways. It is up to each of us to discover what our passion is and to unleash that into the world. And the affirmation is, I make finding my passion, that which is mine to do in this world, a priority. thus allowing spirit a truly unique, greater expression of itself as me. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. This is a new song that I wrote called More of You. Checking in to see if where I'm going is the way in which the inner light is guiding. Oh, guiding me to feel these connections every day. Then every day I'm being led by truth. And when I feel the obstacles of doubt and fear in me, I lift my heart and breathe in more of you. I'm coming after you, my joy, chasing after you, my love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. I'm coming after you, my joy, chasing after you, my love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. I'm moving through this mystery, it all can feel surreal. Surreal until I take the time to listen. I'm listening to the one and making choices every day. And every day I'm being pulled by truth. And when I feel the obstacles of doubt and fear in me, I lift my heart and breathe in more of you. I'm coming after you, my joy, chasing after you, my love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. I'm coming after you, my joy, chasing after you, my love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. I'm coming after you, joy, chasing after you, love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. I'm coming after you, my joy, chasing after you, my love. Walking till I see the sun shine in these eyes. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Oh, it's good to have you here. And so all of you who come here frequently know Reverend Don. For those of you who don't, let me just tell you, this individual I have discovered after being here as long as I have is a model of the spiritual walk, a beacon of joy and a place of heart. And wow, I'm just so lucky to have this experience. So Reverend Don, thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Oh, yes. So we say good morning all the time around here, but good morning again. Darn, I'm glad you guys are here. Glad you could be here and glad you made a decision this morning. I'm sure you got up and just said, we're going down to the Woodland Chapel. Did you? Right. You didn't know Mark and Susan would be here. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to a couple other musicians that we've had here before. We really enjoyed you guys. Mary and Russell. Yeah, sitting right back there. Russell's got glasses on top of his head. Thank you for being here. Yeah, never doubt it was not an accident that you are here right now together with everyone here. We kindred spirits, we call ourselves. Okay, now, before I get to the topic of today, it's titled Yes to Yes, by the way, if you're not familiar with that title, Yes to Yes. So before we say a lot of yeses here, I've said my yeses this morning. I wake up in the morning saying yes. My wife asked me, is the tea done yet? Yes, yes, yes. Did you turn the heat up? Yes, yes, yes. Everything is yes around our house. Haven't heard a no for years. So, but before we get to our topic here on yes this morning, I want to call on an old friend of Woodland Chapel who's got some brief yet important information for us to add to our message of the morning. Professor Robert Tinnike, could you come forward for a moment? And take that podium right over there. We designed that for you. We put in a laboratory right behind you there. You can use it for whatever you want. How are you today, Robert?
Infinitely splendid. Yes, this is my argument to be positive when asked how you are. We have holidays to celebrate several great people and great events in our history, but do we celebrate our great selves? I think we should let our friends and acquaintances know just how great we are and let them know that things are working out for us. The opportunity is presented to us every time someone asks, how are you? What more spirited response could one say than infinitely splendid? Using that greeting response, you're introducing to the world the concept of a greeting that is not only positive but reinforces the joy that was meant to be expressed by our true spiritual nature. I propose that May 14th be National Happy Days and celebrated by saying, after the familiar, how are you, you say, infinitely splendid. There is convincing proof that we all interconnected, and I'll bet the positive collective consciousness will be off the charts. Of course, this participation has been within your comfort zone. There has been a recent paradigm shift in thought concerning the mind-body connection in the world of medicine pioneered by people like Deepak Chopra. His famous book, Quantum Healing, Chopra highlights the fact that the brain sends mood signals to all organs and ultimately to 10 trillion cells. During anger and bad moods, negative energy triggers unhealthy chemical reactions and destructive energy. During happy up moods, there is health-building energy. So by being infinitely splendid, you are sending a happy message to 10 trillion cells. To quote William James, 1842 to 1910, the greatest revelation of my life is the discovery that individuals can change the outer aspects of their lives by changing the inner attitudes of their mind. A very hot topic of recent times has been presented, the secret, which is the law of attraction. Very simply, what you think and speak becomes your reality. Think poor, and poor will be your life. Think abundance and wealth will be your experience, and suffering and poor health will be the outcome. Think infinitely splendid, and you may well experience good health. The authors say the universe hears what you are thinking and brings forth in your life. more of what you are thinking and saying. If you would like to participate, please keep May 14th in mind and enjoy the positive response when you say, "I'm infinitely splendid." And how is everyone?
Infinitely splendid. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
We'll be taking up an offering now. Thank you, Robert. Careful, that first step is the one that's, it's not lighted like the second step. There you go. Wow, infinitely splendid. Yeah, I've heard that like 20 years ago when I first met Robert. I've been using it off and on for at least 3 weeks. But, those two words, really, they're among what I like to call the empowerment words that we like to use in our language, in our religious science teachings. So what are empowerment words? We think about that. What the dickens are they? Why do they matter? Well, all words have power. We know that. All words have power for influencing us and others and our whole entire environment. But empowerment words have this divine quality of God woven into the energy that they produce. Yeah, like infinitely splendid. When we say things like change your thinking, change your life. Well, we've connected action words into a chain of power words. And they have the elements of beauty and inspiration and balance. And they support our belief that we are how God expresses in the world. How God expresses in the world is you and me. You bet. And a lot of other things too, of course. But the truth shines out from those kind of words, and it confirms that without you and without me in our physical forms, right here as human beings, being humans, God's ideas are unrealized. Yeah, whoa. That's a revelation for me. We are the means for ideas that touch lives and hearts and souls through being here. So let's know that we're not just accidents. We have purpose. We must intentionally, I think and act in knowing that the infinitely splendid, invisible God power responds to us just as it did for Jesus, for Buddha, and hang on to your hats, for Hitler, for Putin. You see, we choose the quality of our thinking and acting, and God furnishes the power. And that's why the universe can always say yes. It's not, you see, there's always more to the story, of course, of our purpose for being here. Spiritual representations of the divine here on earth as humans being human. That's what we're doing. You see, we must choose to allow our true nature of doing what is ours to do on the planet. Well, Hail Mary, there's a lot to do. Just look around, just listen. Sovereign space is what we're trying to establish. Sovereign, sacred space for all to flourish and thrive in freedom. Freedom. That's another power word. It really is. That dwells right at the core of the human heart, to live free. Free in whatever way freedom means to us. And therefore, others can just see by the fruits of our actions what's going on in our life as we radiate our true intentions. That's our true intentions we're looking for, to perform the work that we're called to do. We are called to do certain things and do it with grace and ease and grace. Grace is a divine gift, in case you didn't know, but ease is a human choice. Ease is a human choice. Ease and grace are really Spirit's tools, some of them, to balance and harmonize our daily walk among the world scene. That's what they're here for. And do so without getting lost. And if we, like what was happening now, if we should get caught up in all the confusion and the destruction of a certain momentary state of affairs in the world. When we know that God is all there is, when we know that, we can know also that all we are, at the core of our being, is the qualities of God. If God's all there is, then what the dickens are we doing here? Who are we? even though we may find our focus in our present worldly situations, saying differently. But you see, God doesn't stop at just being a designer and just the design. Spirit of God is an indwelling designer. The overall design you heard Donna, was that say something to G-O-D? My favorite idea of describing God. G-O-D, the grand overall designer and the grand overall design. Spirit of God is indwelling in this designing task. God's an imparting designer, therefore empowering us with co-creative and infinite possibility by living in us and as us out in the world. Infinitely splendid possibilities. Yeah, I like that. Infinite means no end, doesn't it? Infinite. No end. And there is no end to the intuitive nudges that if we're awake, these little nudges inside, these sparks which take us into the dance of life with creation itself. And I'm talking about the dance of life, yeah. You see, within that dance of life is found the soul of human activity. Human activity, the dance of life. But there's times when the music stops. There's times when the dance floor goes dark and dangerous, and joy leaves the room, and what is left can erupt into violence and disorder. And that comes from the ignorance and or the forgetting of humans, forgetting where they come from and who they really are. And ignorance of the soul's purpose for living in the world as a human being allows the ego, edging God out, to capture and command of the world events and the human behaviors. And what can happen is what we see today on the world scene. The shadow of war's destruction, rising out of the suffering from that ignorance, or simply ignoring our oneness as a world family. You see, what we see then is the events that are perpetrated by human ego in power, bloated with wasting that power in death and destruction, and upon what the power and this power seat of human leadership choose to ignorantly call enemy. Love thine enemies. How does that work, huh? Now, it can seem, I think, to many people who've not studied in our New Thought teachings, we tell of this belief of oneness, of the life and the spirit, as Jesus would say, I and the Father are one. But some may point to what's going on today in the world, the divisions of humans have for one another. And if we say that God's expressing through us, blah, 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 as we declare our intentions to create these conditions, blah, 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 for a world that works for everyone, and exploding before our very eyes, we see the intentions of power being used by some in power that brings destruction and death of all forms of life that they choose. So what are we to say if and when we are asked, and I have been asked this just recently, why that an all-powerful one intelligence for good that is supposed to be working in the world as good for and as us, why would God allow such conditions and behaviors to exist by humans who do inhumane things to members of their humanity? Well, the thing is, first and foremost, the good news, I would say, really, humans are the only beings on the planet that have the privilege, the gift of choice. The only beings that can choose. Other things are governed simply by instinctive survival only. Love from cooperation, the need of the herd or the pack. We're the only beings on the planet with to have this gift of choice, of free will, and have this gift bestowed and granted and graced, backed up by the greatest power in the universe that always says, go for it. Yes, choose what you may. Yes, you can do that. Now, this may seem to be counterproductive to a teaching that I believe in, that says the one creative power of all that is good and only good. And still, we only need just look around and we can see a world with parts of it on fire. Where is this freedom? Where is this balance and beauty, and where is this joy? Where is the justice, the order, the unity, and the peace? How could God let this be if God loves its creations? Well, let me just run a couple things by you. You can smile. You don't have to look so somber with me here on this. We've spoken here many times using a new thought statement about all is love and all is law. You may have heard another power statement. That's one of my favorites. It says, the first law of heaven is order. The first law of heaven is order. And I think that means the cosmos is not just chaos, crashing around with stars and planets and galaxies, threatening each other in collisions, black holes swallowing up energy. No, that's not how the universe works. Everything's unfolding, becoming, is developing and forming in divine right order. And that's why we say the universe can always say yes. God's in the creating business, and the universe is in the yes business. And the universe knows that yes is power. It can be non-judgmental about granting that power for all requests, because it has complete confidence in knowing that God is in the creating business, and all the order of creation follows divine right order. And the first law of heaven is order. We're talking about alignment, perfect alignment. So whenever something should appear to be a misalignment, it doesn't just disalign, disintegrate. Nothing self-destructs. There's always something that the universe can use. It just adjusts. It adjusts, it changes, it morphs along the lines of divine right order, and it finds its place in one of the infinite possibilities of spiritual expression. When we say infinite possibilities, we ain't beginning to be done with our existence as spiritual beings. So from the earliest times, mystics, they picked up on that. Let me get a drink of water. Pause that refreshes. So, mystics picked up on it. They began to understand this, and they dropped the belief. They decided to drop away from the idea of an all-powerful, angry, judging God who would punish those who or that which did not please God or follow God's rules. But a more progressive belief has begun to evolve, and is still evolving into the human thought patterns for spiritual and religious considerations. Until right now, in the modern day, of the physical sciences discoveries in physics itself, and one of those discoveries is about the law of cause and effect. First is cause, then comes effect. That's the natural order of energy moving through all life, moving through the universe, really. And the universe keeps it moving by always saying, yes. Our spiritual inquiries sees the occurrences of all that has to do with balance. We who study in the sciences of life through our mind science teach that nothing, absolutely nothing, escapes the universe's matrix, but is always tweaking it like a spider's web in a fly. It doesn't miss anything. Nothing happens for nothing. Each movement or action of any energy or form movement finds itself caught up in the laws of balance and order and belonging and settling into a belonging of some part of the great wholeness of the universe. It's a place for everything. Some say that everything is stored away in the great Akashic records. You've probably heard that, some of you. Others call it just the subconscious mind of the universe, stored away, waiting to be yesed and used and allowed to form into whatever our human minds create for a reality to appear. We do discover, that our thoughts are things that become physical realities as we focus our intentions of thinking. We move energy into form by using the power of focused choices in the universe, always saying yes. You bet. Go right ahead. This is such an empowering revelation that we humans, in our ignorance of who we really are, we sometimes, many times, misuse this privilege of making choices, but still, the one divine intelligence behind all that is has no knowledge of what punishment means. Only divine right order being the first law of heaven. Order being the first law. But here's the secret. Here is a little secret. Oh, you know this. I don't have to tell you. Now can we take the collection? No. Punishment is used and is needed on the human scale of keeping order in our dimension of life, this realm of life. But the word for us to understand about the universe, about God, the divine, the thing keeping order going is consequences. Everything has consequences. Consequences are a natural reaction to misuse of the power of yes. Nothing escapes that consequence. There's a consequence going on in the world today. We can see it. We hear about it. It's what we get from the universe when the universe says yes to our decisions. Even if our human choices would harm any of God's creation, its yes has a natural, energetic quality encoded within that yes that keeps balance in order at its own time, not on our time. Sometimes we get a little impatient. It's called consequences. There's always consequences. Every movement causes another movement. Every action causes an opposite and equal reaction. Nothing escapes the detection of the law of balancing. I know you all believe me. I can see it. You're saying, that's serious business. Yeah, well, kind of nice. You see, only the humans make use of power-robbing words too. See, there's no words that the divine has that says failure or wrong or punishment or mistakes. The universe will say yes to all human words and human choices, whether they be power for human good or power robbing for suffering and destruction on the human scales. But there are consequences. Always consequences. Here's something. I just sometimes want to shout this from the rooftops. You and I and all who choose to allow our true nature of doing what is ours to do on this planet by studying and thinking consciously, mindfully. We hear about mindfulness. Thinking it through and knowing that there is much for us to do on this earth to make this sovereign space safe for our family of humankind to flourish and thrive in freedom. There's a wonderful power word there, freedom. Freedom is to be from suppression, from danger to freedom, to be in harmony with all the parts in the scheme of life. Freedom is natural to be because it dwells right at the core of our human heart. To live free to be whatever way freedom means to us. That's the deal. So we can let others see by the fruits of our actions, radiating from our true intentions to perform that work which we are called to do, whatever it may be. And again, Hail Mary, there's a lot for us on this planet to do. We can better get busy. But it's a way for us not to get lost if we find ourselves getting caught in that confusion and suffering in this momentary state of affairs that we can find ourselves. And so, as Judy said last week, be the courage. And in that have the courage to say no to the yes that was answered at one time for another that is harmful, that is not in tune with what you know to be the divine right order. Be the peace, be the kindness, the wholeness, be the great giver of giving, saying yes to holding the line of consciousness for saying yes to love, to perform our services to one another with unconditional love, ease and grace. Grace is that divine gift. Remember that. Ease is the human choice, how we decide to do it. It's the way and the how we perform our duties is the ease that we decide on. And not forget that our theme for this moment of living contains the choice to enjoy our moments. Yeah, to bring our play, to know that spirit is playful, to bring the relaxation and refreshing we've been talking about in some other messages of the morning. Our visions of happiness. A happy life knows how to manage and even neutralize strife and strain. Yeah, we say yes to the yes of the universe because we know we're actually committing ourselves, to joy. Making a world where we can live and share to one of our choosing to be this verdant, peaceful place that's enjoyable to share. On another topic there, Phyllis and I live near Mill Creek. We live in a little dead-end street, pretty little spot. All the houses were built in the early 1900s, so every house is different. And this year we have a regular visitor who has a nest tucked away in the grass-covered bushy bank by the creek there. Right on the edge, there's a very large Canadian goose who's made a regular morning visit to our front porch. I don't know whether it's a him or a her, and maybe one stays at the nest and one, comes back. And I give them him a couple of handfuls of duck food. Have I ever told you my favorite duck story? No. Please don't. Somebody said, please don't. I'm going to tell it to you anyhow. Okay. Well, there's this guy who owns a feed store. He's a grouchy fellow, but he's successful. And he, one morning, opens up his feed store. Standing there ready to get in is a duck. Oh, come right in, sir, he says. Can I help you today? What can I do for you? Duck says. Got any duck food? The guy says, sorry, sir, we just don't carry duck food. We carry other, but not duck food. The duck leaves. Next morning, he's back. Oh, sir, you're back. Oh, can I help you today with something? Got any duck food? Didn't I tell you we don't carry duck food? Duck leaves. The next morning, standing right there on the door, ready to get in, the door opens, the guy says, it's you again. What can I do for you today now? Got any duck food? Listen, you little flat-footed platypus, I told you we don't carry duck food here. If you show up next time, I'm going to nail your feet to the floor. And so, duck leaves. Guess what happens on the next morning? The duck shows up. He's right there. And the guy says, what in the world do you want from me? Got any nails? And the guy says, this is not a hardware store. This is a feed store. Got any duck food? Well, somebody's laughing. Okay. That's all, folks. Actually, I just want to continue here, just kind of finishing up here. Where am I at here? Page 105. So if we should decide to bemoan the suffering and the destruction, such as what's going on in the world right now, and we watch certain persons in power and leadership, and the lights go out, of countries who Hey, that was good, wasn't it? Who are wasting that power that they possess. Remember, you bet, for destruction. You know what I'm talking about. In fact, I'm not, you know what I'm talking about, okay. But what happens is the true student of truth, that's good, believes, as I believe, that any actions and decisions to wield power for inflicting suffering ain't got no bearing at all on the goodness of God. It's not in need of any divine intervention. Okay, I believe that. Maybe others don't. We can rest assured that for every action, there's an opposite reaction it's going to have. It's balance. Because enough good people, this is what I believe right now, enough good people today and good leaders in this world are coming to a powerful understanding that we humans have learned in our attempts of civilization and hunger for peace, that yes, the mighty powerful word, especially if we say yes to peace, if we say yes to dignity and to freedom, and if humans expressing and that sees others as beings in the human family who have sovereign rights to those freedoms that help and to not hinder a more peaceful and verdant world. And enough of those world responsible leadership in that leadership, I think, can now believe to say no to all human behaviors that hinder that goal of a peaceful world, making for all of our family of mankind. So here's the metaphysical key, and I'm going to wrap up with this. From the science of physics and our science of mind, we agree on a working truth revealing that punishment can be meted out on the human level while realizing that for every action there's an opposite and an equal reaction, and it has the ultimate power over every movement or action taken in the human kingdom, and it's called consequences. There are consequences. Even the universe says yes to every consequence. Every consequence. The metaphysician knows that no punishments in the cosmos, none, outside of human needs to judge, to condemn, and to punish. Okay. And yet nothing can occur anywhere in the universe without consequences. Consequences bring all to the balance of law and order. And everything has consequence. Nothing is inconsequential. It all matters. We all count. You bet. And it's recognized by different names in the religious and spiritual communities. Some from the Eastern world communities call it karma. And you know what? If they're right, it may take a while, but the people in power who do the things that rob other people of their sovereign rights, they may find out that karma is a Okay. Well, anyhow, I want to close up here. Let me find out where I'm going to close. I want to close this message today by saying this. The truth will not be denied. The truth is that we are God's chips off the old block. Rocco Errico said that. You betcha. We're at a point in our spiritual evolution, hear me now on this, that we must choose to know ourselves as worthy of and fully connected to the divine, the infinite creator. And that's what makes us so powerful ourselves as co-creators. We must come to the conclusion that God really is all there is. Yeah. Therefore, whether we can believe it or not, all that we are is God. You've heard me say this before. I may not be all God is. Okay, but I'll tell you something. All I am is God. You better believe it. We must come to that conclusion. And if we choose to follow a belief that we are worthy of every God thing that we can believe in, then we can create from a replication of infinite love, truly aligned, lined right up there in divine right order, in a power for the presence of the all-good, and we'll find ourselves rewarded with the law of cause and effect and divinely endowed with a magnificent artistry of the universe itself. Yeah, we have this palette. We can draw the colors of our life, create. Yeah, not create. What's called, I want to use a good word here before I close this all down. I heard someone say it the other day. Craft a life. Craft your life. Like these musicians who do something like that. They are crafters of joy and fun. Well, anyhow. So the final truth of the morning is that we can take confidence in knowing that, yes, we are the ways in which God shows up in the world. You bet. So let us say yes to the yes of the universe and get on with it. What do you say? Amen. Yes. Thank you. Okay, Susan and Mark. We're waiting.
Okay. This is Sweet Spirit. I will listen, direct my path. I have vision for what's at hand. I am quiet, I can hear so clearly. Oh, sweet spirit, my life is blessed. I set my eye on the glory. I set my heart on the love. My life is filled with your presence. I move into your heavenly bliss. I awaken to the future. I send blessings to the past. I am now filled with reassurance. Oh, sweet spirit, my life is blessed. I set my eye on the glory. I set my heart on the love. My life is filled with your presence. I move into your heavenly bliss. I set my eye on the glory. I set my heart on the love. My life is filled with your presence. I move into your heavenly bliss. I will listen, direct my path. I have vision for what's at hand. I am quiet, I can hear so clearly. Oh, sweet spirit, my life is blessed. Thanks.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
You do? I just want to ask everyone if they got the duck joke. It took me on into your message, which distracted me, Don. But I finally got that if they didn't have nails, he couldn't nail his foot, so I could keep asking for foot. Okay. And I digress. So I didn't want any of you to go home confused. Okay.
We don't want any duck food.
Our offertory affirmation. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
But everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. But everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. We give thanks for everything. We give thanks for everything.
That word thanks, that's another power word. And when we say we give thanks, we mean that we give a receivership on our part of you. That which you are going to be generous. We give thanks for all that. We know that you are dear ones. We call you beloved ones. We don't just call you a congregation or that kind of thing. Folks who come and check us out, no. You're here as family, spiritual family. Thank you. Thank you for what you've given us here today. And again, if you can believe anything I've said today, would you agree with me and say, and
So it is. Yes. And as we come together, closing in the power of protection, let us note together that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we stand to sing our peace song, let us really hold in our hearts the power of peace, beginning with ourselves.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.